James Luckton, delighted to be joined on Zoom with Courtney Bennett. Courtney, how are you, mate?
What are you doing, mate? Yeah, not too bad yourself.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. Um, this week you've been busy. You've been in the gym. Jermain Franklin, he fights Anthony Joshua this weekend. You've been in sparring, helping him prepare for Anthony Joshua. Fresh
Yeah.
off your fight a few weeks back yourself. Not had a big break outside of the gym, straight back in deep waters. What was the sparring like?
Very, very good competitive sparring. Very good. Don't want to say too much, and do you know what I mean? But yeah, I can see why he's got his shot. Obviously he done well against Dylan White, but he's lost a lot of weight from the Dylan White fight. Looks good, fit, strong. So yeah, it was good sparring.
For yourself, obviously, Jermain Franklin's fighting Anthony Joshua, who's, pretty much there or thereabouts at the top of the tree. You're coming through as a young pro yourself. How good is it for you to get this sparring in with these guys at that experience?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's very good to get the experience. They did pay me for the sparring, but I would have done it for free. Do you know what I mean? Because it was a good experience to be around the camps and see how different camps work and etc.
Absolutely. I remember last time we spoke before your last fight, you'd mentioned you've obviously been working with Joe Joyce previously, yeah, as your best sparring. You learned a lot from that spar. What
Yeah.
sort of, obviously, it's very different sparring, Jermain Franklin, very two different fighters, different
Yeah.
style, different, even heights, etc. What did you take from this sparring in terms of Jermaine Franklin? And is it a different style? The fact that he's American, is it a different way that he works?
Yeah. I would say the especially the Americans, the coaches are very more vocal. So his coaches are saying a lot of things, and he was doing a lot of things that his coach is happy with and things like that. So I would say the styles are definitely different. I think Joyce is more of a Joyce just comes at you 100 miles an hour. Do you know and it was good when I was sparring Joyce, but with Franklin I had a bit more time to think and try and work on things I wanted to be working on, but at the same time, don't be getting caught with any silly shots and etc. etc.
Obviously, you is in there to help him prepare for Anthony Joshua. You're the sparring partner.
Yeah,
However, like I say, you'll learn a lot from that as a young pro.
yeah,
What did you mention as well? You worked on a few things that you wanted to work on without getting caught with silly shots. What do you
yeah.
take for yourself?
Yeah. I reckon. I think because him being at that level that he's at, obviously fighting Andy Joshua, so he's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not like someone that's like how can someone that's like me for instance. Coming up in their pro career, someone that's seasoned. He's had over 15 professional fights. He's boxed in and white. He's now about to box Andy Joshua, so he's experiencing them things. And there's things I learned about him a lot. I learned from him, shall I say? Sorry, is how to like proper time the rounds and don't rush go 100 miles at everything. Do you know what I'm saying? So take your time with things. So that was a thing I definitely learned because when I spar, I try to go at the same pace all the time. There's certain times you can up it and bring it down a bit. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's one thing I did learn from him, which is good.
So with that, is that just a case of conserving energy? Is that, for example, could it be things like breathing techniques whilst you're in there sparring, things like that?
Yeah, I think because don't get me wrong, he's fit. Like I was thinking like he was proper fit when he was in there. Sorry, but hold on a second, mate.
Right.
Let
Still
me.
got you.
Yeah, so yeah, he was proper fit. So like it's not like he was struggling with fitness. He was like proper he was just doing certain things and then having a break of like not I wouldn't say a break, but he was doing certain things and then he was okay, let me do this and do that. So yeah, it was good to learn from.
See, Franklin wasn't very well known to the UK public and the UK fans before the Dillian White fight. People
Yeah.
might think, obviously, he didn't get the win, but he performed well. But people may think, well, it could be a one-off. What was he like in the gym? How good is Jermaine Franklin?
Yeah, he's as I said at the beginning, like I can see why he's got this opportunity. It's not like he's against, as you said, against Dylan White. It was a one-off thing. Like even in the spars, it was like good spars. Like it was very good spars. Me personally, I think I held my own. I done what I needed to do in there, helped him out, whatever. But I can see why he's there, 100%.
You mentioned earlier he's lost a bit of weight from the Dillian White fight. That
Yeah,
he's going to go in with a bit of pace and try and have a bit of footwork in there. As a heavyweight, it's not something that generally people associate with heavyweights is their footwork. What is
yeah.
Jermain's footwork like?
It is good to be fair. Uh, I would say underrated as well. Like I wouldn't say underrated because as you said, that us UK certain people from the UK don't know about him, but he actually has got good footwork. If I'm honest with you.
And then in terms of obviously coming in against Anthony Joshua, Anthony, I'm sure is somebody who you've watched over the years since he's turned
Yeah.
professional, since the Olympics in 2016. Um, in terms of the styles and obviously being very up close and personal with Jermain Franklin, how well would their styles gel?
I think they'll go to you good, like proper. Like if I if Jermaine Franklin performs how I think he should perform, and Andy Joshua should perform how I think he should perform, I reckon we're in for a treat. I reckon it'll be a good fight.
Are you surprised that Franklin's the opponent in the Anthony Joshua comeback fight after two losses to Usyk back to back?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised, no, like because the general public might not think Jermaine Franklin, oh, who's Jermaine Franklin? Do you know what I mean? But we saw what he done against Dylan White. He performed well against Dylan White. Very well. Like some people said, oh, it was a controversial decision. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I think it's a good opponent, a live opponent as well. So I don't think it's an opponent where people should be thinking, oh, like, why isn't he just boxing him? Do you know what I mean? I feel like, especially sparring him now as well. Yeah, I give him just credit for boxing him on his comeback fight.
Previously, we've seen Anthony Joshua have his tougher fights against a shorter man and a shorter opponent. There
Yeah,
seems to be quite a big difference between the heights from their first face off the other day at the start of the week.
yeah.
Could this be an issue for Anthony Joshua? Is it something that potentially Derek James has been working with? How do you adjust to that when every time you fought a smaller opponent, you have struggled with that height difference?
Um, as you said, I think that's something him and Derek James have got to work on in the gym and things like that. If that's he's had struggles working with boxing short opponents. Sorry, yeah, I think he should be working on that in the gym. To yeah, because I reckon Andy Joshua, one of his best shots was his uppercut. Do you know what I mean? So bringing that up the middle against a short guy, he could work.
Absolutely. And then just finally, I want to mention yourself, Courtney. Obviously, we mentioned earlier, start of the call. Only a few weeks back now, you had your last pro fight. You got the victory again, points decision. I was there ringside with yourselves and your team. Just how did you find it?
Um, a lot better than my debut. I wasn't as like my debut was a bit nervous and things like that, but I wasn't really no. There was a bit of nerves, but no nerves where I was like, oh, do you know what I mean? So I think I performed well. I had a better camp going into my second professional fight, so I think that paid a lot of dividends to my performance as well.
You mentioned you weren't as nervous. I could see that. I spent a lot of time in the changing rooms with yourself and your team, and I wouldn't. The only thing I'd say, only difference really I noticed was you wasn't as talkative as you are now, for example, but you was getting yourself in the zone. You was focused on your opponent, etc. It's fight night. You was only about 30, 40 minutes away from entering the ring.
Yeah,
I joined you in the changing room, but yeah, no nerves came across at all. You was very calm, collected, very cool.
yeah, that's like me. Before my fights, I don't really talk much. I just like to get, as you said, just get into the zone. Do you know what I mean? So I just had my had the music playing, just getting myself into the zone, getting ready for the fight.
Absolutely. And any update or any news on the next fight?
Looking to get out in May. Hopefully, my manager's gonna have a few conversations this week and see what we can get in place, and yeah, hopefully get out in May. Fingers crossed.
And just the last question from me, Courtney. I mentioned obviously this calls me about sparring and sparring Jermain Franklin. You sparred Joe Joyce previously, and it's vital for you at this stage of your career to get in good sparring, especially against the more experienced fighters as well. How do you go about setting up sparring? Do you guys approach the fighters for sparring, or are you called in? Do you have anything lined up in the next few weeks, few months?
I was seeing I was called in. Don Charles actually got in contact with my coach um and asked if I would be down for the sparring, and I said yeah, I'll be down for it, like 100%. Um, so yeah, that's how I got called in. I've never gone to approach anyone for no sparring or nothing like that. But if I get a call and ask if I can come in for sparring, then yeah, I'll do it.
Fantastic. Well, Courtney, we'll catch up again soon. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
no problem, mate.